This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. I don't know how many times I've talked about the Republicans' fascination with chaos, and that being their driving ideological force. There is no adherence to order or discipline or tradition or governance. It's chaos. And there's no larger example than a few members of Congress right now. Your Lauren Boeberts, your Marjorie Taylor Greenes, and today I want to talk about Madison Cawthorn again. Madison Cawthorn is a young man who I think had aspirations when he first ran for office to be a normal representative, a normal congressman, and was seduced by power. And I say that because there's all kinds of clips of him talking about bringing people together and bridging the divide in American politics today. A noble endeavor. He is no longer about that. He is about sowing discord. He is about dividing the country. This clip I'm getting ready to play is inexplicably dangerous. This is the same person who talked about bloodshed in an upcoming, what I ostensibly understand to be what he believes a civil war that will take place. He advocates for violence while holding a firearm, talking about these things. And what appears to be him sitting on the stage at a church. There's band equipment. I mean, if you grew up in an evangelical church like I did, it looks just like the stage of many churches that I attended as a child. And he's talking about raising our children, talking about the cultural divide in our country, making up words, demasculate. But telling parents that they need to, if they're raising boys, if they're raising children to be men, that they need to raise monsters. An unbelievable moment from an unbelievably dangerous character in American politics today. Watch this.
Our culture today is trying to completely demasculate all of the young men in our culture. I mean, you can look at the testosterone levels in young men today, and they are lower than throughout all of history. And there's a lot of reasons for this that we can get into later. But my friends, they're trying to demasculate the young men in this country because they don't want people who are going to stand up. And so I'm telling you, all of you moms here, the people who I said were the most vicious in our movement, if you are raising a young man, please raise them to be a monster. Raise.
And the crowd cheers. This is where we are in American politics today, that we have sitting members of Congress calling for the rearing of monsters because of young men being demasculated. Not a word, not a thing. And then, of course, if you're seeking out scientific information relative to testosterone levels over time in men in America, you go to Madison Cawthorn, who's going to speak as an expert about something of a medical nature. The same moron who thinks that wearing a mask is somehow antithetical to liberty. That this is oppression. This is tyranny. This believes something wacky about testosterone levels. These conservatives act so tough. They rail on about masculinity and manliness and bravery and courage. Many of them, most of them, never served. Madison Cawthorn never served. And advocating for, which the crowd seemed to love, raising monsters. We are in a dangerous place in America where this kind of rhetoric is cheered on, ostensibly, in what appears to be a church, a house of God. I mean, you would assume if it is a church that just minutes before or minutes after, they're worshiping Jesus. Is Jesus's masculinity being questioned? The Prince of Peace? Is he not masculine enough for these monsters? You think Jesus, if he had a child, would have raised he or she to be a monster? It is perplexing, to say the least. It is scary. And if you're a Republican, is this the rhetoric that you're comfortable with? Are these the leaders that you see following and bettering the nation for our children? I don't understand it. It's very troubling for a country that I served in uniform in the United States Marine Corps, for a country that I served while working on Capitol Hill for the Senate years ago, for the country I still serve, albeit in a less conventional way here on YouTube. Scary, dangerous, and moreover, maybe perplexing. I just don't understand it. If you have some idea, I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Thank you for your time. I'd appreciate if you'd follow me on social media, connect with me there. You can yell at me there. That seems to be something that happens. And if I bring you value, a little bit of value, maybe a smile, maybe some information, maybe some provocative questions, I would appreciate it if you consider supporting my work here on the platform for as little as $2 a month, $1.99 a month. You can become a channel member by clicking the join button below the video, or you can head on over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Both of those are fantastic ways to help support my work, help produce what I do here, both on the podcast side of things, but also over here on the YouTube side for videos. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much, and I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.